Hola amigos, bien ok. Saludos desde Medellín, un poco tarde hoy, pero quiero compartir contigo algo que yo descubrí en este libro, poco para demostrar por qué es útil para leer con casi lo mismo tema para en diferentes expresiones del tiempo, pasado, futuro, esta forma, presente. So aquí en el décima lección hay muchas distintas oraciones. El buen punto aquí es ellos son agrupados con tema similar para expresar en distintos tiempos, para pasado, presente y futuro. Y también ellos son traduciendo con inglés hasta español. So, para mí es súper bien, ¿no? So, voy a leer algunos para demostrar. Él está dándome mi libro. He is giving me my book. Ella me dio mi libro. She gave me my book. Yo les daré mi libro. I will give you my book. Yo le daría mi libro. I would give you my book. Hemos dado los libros. We have given the books. Habíamos dado los libros. We had given the books. Déjame mi libro. Give me my book. So this is quickly just to show you that by using a very similar sentence, so in this case it's about the book, but changing the expressions of time from past, present, future, these kind of forms, you can see more easily which parts of the sentence really change. Now this is a bit different in English than in Spanish, but I think you get the idea. It's to help you spot the patterns of what changes, and then you can look, when you see that type of word again, in a different context perhaps, it's going to help you recognize that, this means we're looking at something that's happening in the future, or this is something that's happened in the past. So I find this kind of thing very useful, I have to say. So with this, we've seen several different ways that the verbs changed to show you the different expressions of time. So next time when I'm reading something else, or I'm listening to something else, and I hear these particular words come up, I have a better idea of what the sense of time, at least, we're talking about. And that's helpful so we don't get too confused as, what are we talking about here? Yeah? So I highly recommend it. I mean, this book is really very good anyway. I highly recommend the book. But notice it's useful even for me learning Spanish. I can use the book in reverse. So it doesn't have to be a book that's written, this book is obviously written to teach Spanish speakers English. But for me, learning Spanish, I found this book just as useful, because with the parallel translations, it's like reading from the other side of the book. But the principle of this is that as he's writing these down, most of these sentences are grouped around a very similar word structure, but then change into 2 or 3 different forms to help you see how these patterns change. And for a lot of our reading now, it's to do with spotting these patterns in the new vocabulary we come across, because the more of these patterns we can recognize, the quicker we can understand quite clearly, what's the context we're talking about, what's the time frame we're talking about, are we in the present, the past, the future. And that's going to help us improve our own expression, because this is obviously one of the difficult things that's easy to get wrong. Then we end up talking in the past tense about something that we really mean to be happening tomorrow, and then everyone gets really confused and you get lots of correcting questions. So to help us avoid that, this type of reading, this type of maybe like translating things into different expressions of time, really useful. So if you haven't tried that yet already, I highly recommend that. Maybe one or two of the dialogues that we were looking at perhaps yesterday. See how many of these you can put into different time expressions, because that's really going to help us a lot as we go forward. Well, that's it for this evening from a very rainy Medellin. I wish you Feliz noche, good night, and cheerio for now.